preparing one of the juvenile size tubs here, and I've washed it all out, and what I need to do is put some holes in here. And the best way I found to do this is basically drill from the inside out, just because my drill bits aren't the sharpest. They're pretty dull, but nice and slow and easy. Put it in there. If the hole, depending on the size of the drill bit you have, you want a little bit bigger, you can pull it out at somewhat of an angle. That leaves it very nice and smooth on the inside, a little rough on the outside. So I'll just go through and I'll put a couple of these in. There's no correct pattern to this. There's no hole police that are going to come arrest you if you do it wrong. As long as the air gets in and out and your animals can't escape, that is the main thing. So one more over here. There we go. Now, one thing you want to be careful of is you can heat this plastic up around your drill bit and your drill and make a mess. So just do a few, take a break. Now, like I said, these things are super smooth. I can't even feel them. Right, but on the outside here, they're pretty sharp and rough. Got stuff here that you can try to pick off. Now, I've tried to use a file to file these down before, make them bigger, and like I said, just moving the drill around while it's in there seems to work best. And then what I'll do is just take a lighter, heat it up a little bit there. That really smooths it out then. Not that the outside needs to be very smooth, but that's the big difference I found in going inside out versus starting it on the outside and going in, is that you don't have to do as much maintenance on the inside. It's really just getting some of that off on the outside. Now you can try and use sandpaper. I've tried a variety of things here to get the sharpness down. There, that's pretty smooth. Now you'll see there's some stuff actually in the hole. You can pick that out. But there's airflow that will get in and out of here. You can blow some of it out. Make sure you get the shavings out before you actually use it. But that's pretty much how I do that on the tubs. So I'll go through and put holes around the rest of it and get that cleared up, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, there we have it. I got all my holes drilled. Now, placement is somewhat important depending on if you have any water that could spill, if you have substrate in here. Obviously, you want the holes above that level of where that's going to be so that nothing leaks out and it's not blocked by substrate. And like I said, you can add more holes. You can remove holes. You can tape over holes if there's too much. Once you put your water in here, depending on how large your water bowl is, you may find that you'll start to get, what you'll see is it's clear around the hole, but you'll see humidity grow between the holes, which means there's too much humidity in there, depending on what you're trying to achieve. So then you just got to play with it. You use less water in the water bowl, a smaller water dish, different substrate, more holes, less holes. It's kind of a, you know, monitor what you do and adjust to get the results that you want. So getting a humidity sensor in here, just one that you can move around cages so that you can see what the humidity is and test it is always good. They sell cheap electronic ones on Amazon, and go from there. So the next thing I need to do for this is hot glue a holder. Hot glue one of these in here, and I'll probably aim for one side, the front, whichever side is going to be the front. Enough room that I can get around and clean it, but also have a cool hide area in here. So if I put it in here, then that kind of messes with things. So I think I'll put it right about there. So I gotta let the hot glue gun heat up, and then I will show you what I do for that. Okay, now we're on to the step of hot gluing the cup to the bottom. And like I said, I want to place these about here so it gives me some room to clean but not take up the whole side. I got my hot glue gun here just heating up, and all you really do is just run a bead of your hot glue here. A few dots, a few dabs, whatever works for you. Like I said, there's no way to really seal this stuff out. So do that, press it down, hold it for a few seconds, and voila, we're done. So that way it's in there. Like I said, you can remove these if you need to, but it keeps it down enough to where the snakes don't pull it off. You can just drop their fresh water cup in that holder and go on about your day. It's fairly simple. No stress. Don't stress about it. I've never used a hot glue gun before in my life before doing this, and it goes fairly easy, fairly simple. So I've got 4 of these I'm setting up. Oops, a little bit too much there. Pretty sure no craft police are going to come after me and complain. There we go. Set it about there. Some stringy glue still attached. And voila, we're all set. And here's my last one. Now, one thing about drilling the holes and using a lighter to burn them and using a hot glue gun, you know, doing a ventilated area. If you're not comfortable with it, find somebody that can help you to do it. I also lack a lot of sensitivity in my fingers, so for me this may be hot or not hot. For you it may be hot. You can just use a towel or something to hold it down, but do it safe. And there we go. So now I have enough room for their hides. I can put a hide on the warm side because this will be the warm side over here. I can play with a variety of hides. I've got different humid hides I may put in here with stuff. It's just a Tupperware dish or a dish with holes cut in it and a hole for them to get in and out of. Again, I burned it just so that it's not sharp. I fill it with this substrate. I make it moist and wet it every day, and then I put it on the warm side. So that way it kind of gives them some humidity. And one of the reasons I wanted to go to these larger tubs for the babies was this way I can excuse me, I can have a hide in here, or I can move their hide up a little bit and still have room for their humid hides, whichever one I put in there. So I can move things around a little bit more, and I can play with the substrates, and I can do different things just to give me some options and some variety. that's the great thing about all this, right? Is that you get to play around with it. You can do things and play with different things. I would say if you're changing your animal's environment, don't do it too often. Once a month, maybe every other month. That way you're not stressing them out by constantly changing their environment. But, I mean, just playing with different things. I've got different Tupperware containers to play with that I might use for something. I've got different size egg cartons and egg crates I may use for their hides because they're easy, they're cheap, you can toss them. This was a mushroom dish, I think, from a store that I just put some of their stuff in. I think one of the animals came in this. So play with it, have fun, right? And see what your animal likes. I have some that like to burrow, I have some that don't like to burrow. This gives me the option to, I could stack rocks, I can put some naturalistic features in here. I could put a little, I've seen little pads of dish probably half this size with plants growing out of it. Put them in there, see how they do. But this gives you the option to be creative and play around with it for your animal. So go off and have some fun. Talk to you later.